Yes, welcome along to episode 15 of Upping the Ante in association with Bet365 with David Jennings and Gavin Lynch, counting down to the 2021 Cheltenham Festival. And you know what, folks? There's only 4 weeks to go. Just 1 month until the 2021 Cheltenham Festival. And Gavin Lynch, you must be super excited.
Yeah, I always like the fact that February is a shorter month than all the other ones because it's quicker to Cheltenham. We're probably wishing our lives away a little bit, but thankfully we've had Cheltenham. It's been the longest winter ever with COVID and lockdown, so I actually feel sorry for people that don't
Gavin,
love Cheltenham as much as we do.
How do people get up in the morning when they don't have Cheltenham to look forward to?
Yeah, it certainly has made my life a lot more interesting and less boring, shall we say.
Do you wake up every morning and go, I wonder did Envoy Allen sleep all right? Did he sleep all right?
The good thing is, with 4 weeks to go, you don't have to feel guilty about looking up odds checker every day.
No, certainly not. You look at odds checker, say 365 days a year?
300 probably, yeah.
Yeah, 366 in a leap year?
Maybe. But only a month ago, so that's great. How was your week?
Gavin, I had a very strange week, okay?
Right.
Very strange. I joined a new football team this year, so I moved from Newbury to Dunchalklin because we've moved house and stuff. And our manager teamed us up in pairs to do a 3 kilometre run.
Right.
Okay? And I thought I did all
How
right.
was it, 15 minutes?
Yeah, that's right. I did it in 14 something.
Very good.
I won't say 14 what, but 14 something. I said, geez, that's great. Now, we came last, even though the guy I was running with did a really good time. And the forfeit was we had to sing Vanilla Ice, Ice Ice Baby on a Zoom chat with people who I'd never met before because everything is done remotely. Horrific.
Great song, Dave.
Do you know it, Gavin? Give us a line, go on.
All right, stop, collaborate and listen, etc. Anyway, myself and the kids...
That was better than me.
Myself and the kids often sing that song. Your man ended up running a surf shop, I think, in Miami or somewhere. So.
Gavin, you know everything.
Vanilla Ice, yeah.
How do you know that?
It was a great video. If you get a chance, have a look.
Yeah, don't have a look at mine. No, the real thing is better, Gavin. We get on with the show.
Yep.
Enough of this messing.
Correct.
Let's get on with the show. So we'll kick off with our questions from the crowd. And the first one this week comes in from Charlie Harrison. And Charlie says that the Shishkin, Envoy Allen and Monkfish Treble only pays 5 to 1 with Bet365, Gavin. And given the shrewd judges that we are, he says surely we can find an each way alternative treble to those 3 horses. So take it away.
I thought this was ambiguous, this question. I wasn't sure what he meant exactly. Was it just 3? It is. Just those 3 races or any race. So I did 2 kind of bets for you, just to be sure.
To be sure. Okay, which one are you going to give us first?
In case got a hole in one. I'll give you 3 horses that I think might be placed in the Arkle, the Marsh and the RSA.
That's what I did. That was my answer.
Okay, well I did 3 others.
Okay, we'll both go Arkle.
A lot of pace in the race. All Mankind was okay yesterday. They'll take each other on. I just think a horse that sits off it could run on to be 3rd, Captain Guinness.
Yeah, I went for Captain Guinness. Just about 25 to 1, Bet365, just about. Eldorado Allen is 66 to 1. He's not good enough. He was hammered by Shishkin, but he could sneak 3rd.
No.
But I'm going to go for Captain Guinness. 25 to 1 will be placed.
In the Marsh, I'll take a chance that Willie Mullins diverts Franco Deport from the Arkle to the Marsh. I think he needs 2.5 mile.
Okay, I'll go.
He's 18 to 1. I think he could be placed.
Okay, 18 to 1. I'm going to go for another 25 to 1. I'm going to go for Hitman, who I thought was travelling reasonably well in the Scilly Isles when he came down. Won't win, but could be placed. 25 to 1 Hitman. And the Brown Advisory Chase.
It was the RSA. It became the festival. Now it's the Brown Advisory Chase. Eclat de Rire 14 to 1. I think is rock solid to be in the first 3. Okay. Jumps brilliant. Will be out in front. Stays forever. I think it's got a good chance.
You know mine, don't you?
Oh yeah.
The Big Breakaway. Not only will he be placed, Gavin, he could win the race.
He won't.
He'll be second to Monkfish, I think.
I didn't go for latest exhibition because we're going to talk about it later on. Paul Nolan has said that he may go to Fairy House and stuff like that. So that's why I didn't say latest exhibition, even though I've tipped up.
So those trebles again for Gavin in the each way alternative treble for Gavin. It is Captain Guinness, it is Franco Deport, and it is Eclat de Rire. And for me, it is Captain Guinness, Hitman, and the Big Breakaway. And Gavin is so good, he's got a proper.
And just to say about those 2 races, we're not saying they'll win. Just
placed.
Yeah. So I also did. I thought it was an each way treble for any race. So here's a bet for you: a tenner each way treble. This pays 1,855 quid, I think.
Beat the Lord.
Because you give out to me when you hear the prices. But Galvin at 4 to 1, because I think the race is going to fall apart a little bit. I think like a Royal Pagaille, latest exhibition, Eclat de Rire, next destination. I don't think they may show up. Next is Statler at 9 to 1. I think he's excellent value in the Bartlett. I think if they ride him differently and hold on to him in 5th or 6th and come late, he's got a great chance. And Ellie Mae at 5 to 2. Again, I think
what does this treble pay?
Yeah, 1,800 quid for a tenner each way treble, if they all win. Wow. I think Ellie Mae will go off shorter. There's doubts whether Colreevy put the kettle on. Benny, did you go here? The Mayor's Hurdle, Damned Company. So I think she could end up shorter. So I think good value. Galvin at 4 to 1, Statler at 9 to 1, and Ellie Mae at 5 to 2. I think that's worth a tenner each way treble.
There you go. So there's your 3 trebles for you, Charlie. Our second question this week comes in from David Brady, and David wants to know if Upping the Ante was like fantasy football, Gavin, and this was a free transfer week and we could take one horse from each other's stable, who would you take? And he says, sorry, Gavin. He apologises and says, sorry, Gavin, you're drawing the short straw here. Cheers, Dave.
He's only telling the truth. Now, you're not keeping this now. This is just a pretend, isn't it?
Yeah, do you know what? I don't even want it. Go on.
The one I'd pick from you, I actually wouldn't pick Braveman's Game, even though there's the biggest price differential. You tipped it up very well at 20s. It's now like 4-1.
Gavin, that's false praise.
I know, but I think
you tipped up a good horse, but there's no chance of winning.
No, it has, but I just think the farm was let down the other day with the Glancing Queen. I think Bob Bollinger and particularly Gallard Dominion might beat it. But anyway, the horse I would go for of yours that I'd like to have in my team is Imperial Alcazar at 16-1. It's now 9-1.
He's the captain. He's the banker. He's the one.
Yeah, in the Pertemps, yeah. Even though he did win a qualifier, which is usually traditionally a bad thing to do. He's up £8 from 139 to 147. The Boss's Oscar, who I've tipped up, has gone from 143 to 151, which is more than I was expecting. So I think Imperial Alcazar is a great chance.
And was it a tough decision picking one of mine?
It was, Dave. I spent a good minute.
Did you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, less the sarcasm, please. Okay, I had so many to pick from because Gavin's list is absolutely fantastic. But the one I went for was not the one you might think. You might think I would have went for Gallard Dominion maybe. But no, Ellie Mae. Ellie Mae, because it looks like Colreevy is not going to run. Unless you're watching Willie, and run Willie, if you're watching, he's a fan of the show, just run Colreevy. Give me a run for my money. But it looks like Colreevy might be staying away from the Cotswolds, and that means Ellie Mae, who you tipped at 14-1, looks a cracking price. I could see her going off 5-4.
Yeah, it just depends what shows up. It depends on things like put the kettle on Benny the Jew, as we said. So, yeah, she's got a good chance. She's not the biggest mare, but she jumps well. She
does jump well, and she was very impressive on Saturday. So, I will snatch Gavin's Ellie Mae, and he is taking Imperial Alcazar off me. And there's no short straw here, Dave. So our final question in our questions from the crowd section this week. And don't forget, send in your questions. Get in touch. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Put your questions in and me and Gavin will endeavour to answer them. Our final one this week comes in from Kevin Farrell. And Kevin wants to know, Gavin, he hears you talking about times all the time. And he says he wants to be a successful punter like you. So how can he use times to his best of his advantage? What is the secret? So times, Tell us about times.
Right, so I'm going to be nerdish and boring for a couple of minutes. Is that all right?
Nothing new there yet?
Yeah. So I think times are quite important to be looking at.
I was late today.
But obviously things like ground, form, has the race worked out, the jockey, the trainer is in good form, left-handed, right-handed, the trip, etc., etc. But times are very important.
The most important thing?
Look, it's up there. I wouldn't just hang your hat on every single thing to do with times, but it's quite important. I'd say maybe the ground is most important. But for example, racing was on yesterday in Thurles. Tomorrow I'll go through all those videos and I'll have a quick look at all the times just to see how they compared with each other. Never compare times with different days, even if they're 2 days in a row and there's been no rain, just don't do it.
Okay, and before you go into your nerdy stuff, okay,
yes.
How do you decide? Is it only for the real good races that you decide to time a horse from the second last to the line, or how? Like, you wouldn't do that every day?
No, I wouldn't. No, definitely not. Like, I didn't bother timing Album Photo in Tremor. I just went with the
Simon Rowlands did.
He did. We know Album Photo long enough now, but for example,
so you went with the time that the track told you?
Yeah,
that could have been dangerous, Gavin.
But for example, in 2019, Blue Sari. Blue Sari, I tipped up for the Cheltenham bumper, I think at 12 or 14-1. And the reason I did was, visually it was very impressive on the day in Goran Park. And also at the time, Gordon Ellie had said Envoy Allen mightn't be going to Cheltenham. But anyway, we get over that. So what I did was, because it was visually impressive, I went and compared it with, I think, three other hurdle races that day. And in Goran Park, there's a gorgeous tree 3 furlongs out. So when they passed the tree...
Three furlongs out.
You press the stopwatch and away you go. And Blue Sari was way quicker than 3 handicap hurdles, I think, ran that day. So that's why I tipped up Blue Sari. Then last year, for the bumper, I also tipped up Appreciated at 14s, went off short and finished second, as we know. So that's 2 seconds, Blue Sari in it. But last year, I timed Appreciated, who won a 2.5 mile bumper. You wouldn't think that horse would have gears. Again, visually, it looked very impressive. So I timed it from the second last against a couple of races, including Abracadabras, who obviously won a grade 1 that day. And Appreciated was quicker than Abracadabras. So that told me the horse had gear, so I tipped it up again. And this year, Kilcrush was visually very impressive in Navan. And again, I compared it with Magic Tricks, that won the first race that day. It beat it by 2.5 seconds. You can roughly go with 4 lengths a second. So it beat Magic Tricks by 10 lengths, giving it £7. And to me, that was a kind of a wow performance. So that's why I tipped up Kilcrut. Statler at Christmas, from the third last to the line, was a half a second slower than Sharjah and was a half a second quicker than Concertista. Again, that was very, very good. You could also say Gallard Manil's time at Christmas was excellent. Here's one for you. Bob Ollinger ran a very, very slow time in Navan compared to Ashtail Bob. Now, I think it was carrying 10 pounds more, but it was like 14 seconds slower. So you might think that's a negative for Bob Ollinger, but it won by 20 lengths pulling up. So
yeah, well, here's a question now, and I don't want to be interrupting you because you've loads, okay?
Good.
I hear Simon Rowlands and different people talking about times, and a lot of people are downgrading Kilcrut's performance, okay, because of its finishing speed, okay? But how far could he have won? So how do you judge Patrick Mullins sitting there? It's very seldom you see Patrick Mullins finishing a bumper on the bridle. He usually pushes out. This was one occasion where he sat and sat and sat. So how do you decide, okay, that horse won by a certain amount of lengths, but he could have won by this. He could have done this time. Like, every horse is not being pushed to the line. So how do you judge the time when a horse wins as easily as Kilcrut does? That's the thing that baffles me.
So it's not an exact science. As somebody said one day, they're only human horses. They'll run good and bad, and sometimes they go too quick and they go too slow. Like the Devil's Coachman's race on Sunday, they went quite slow early on. Yeah. But in Kilcrut's race, in the Dublin Racing Festival, they definitely went too quick, which made him look...
Yeah, I know that.
Made him look like Arkle.
But he could have won by further.
He could, but they did definitely go too quick. So I would downgrade that a little bit too, because they did go too quick.
I'm not disputing that. They did go too quick. But my point is that one of the reasons for downgrading the performance is because you're saying the time of the race and the time...
The time was fine.
Yeah, but he could have won by... Surely he could have won by an extra 7 lengths.
Yeah, but that's because they were all dead turning in. You know, they were exhausted and they couldn't go any quicker because they had gone too quick.
But if he had won by over 30 lengths, would we be saying... you can downgrade that performance? I'm not sure we would as much. I understand they went too quick, but...
Yeah, you just have to be careful when they go too quick, particularly on the flat. Say you're backing horse in the mile race in Leopardstown or the Curragh during the summer, and if you get two horses taking each other on, they're going to go too quick, so it's going to suit horses coming from behind.
Okay, sorry, now I interrupted you.
No, you're all right. I was also going to say, the only horse that really annoys me that I haven't tipped up in the ante so far this season is Energamine, because its time in Gorham Park was really brilliant. And it's turned out to be that he's a class horse. Like that day, he finished 8 seconds quicker than Animix, even though he was given it, I think, £7. Animix is now rated 153. The reason I didn't tip up Energamine at the time for the Arkle was, yeah, there was that, but also that was 2.5 miles, so I didn't know whether he was going to end up in the Arkle. So, but that was an amazing performance. Here's another thing as well is to talk about is just generally the times of national hunt races. So if we'll go with a 2 mile hurdle race, right? If it's 3:50, that's probably good to yielding ground. If it's 4 minutes, I would call it yielding or good to soft ground. If it's 4 minutes 10 to 4:15, that's soft. And if it's 4:20 to 4:30, it's heavy ground.
Okay.
So I always actually think that there should be 2 going descriptions of race meetings. I think the one before the race meeting should be called the going guide. Because when a fellow walks around the track, experienced as he or she is, they stick their foot in the ground, stick a stick in the ground. It's not an exact science. You can't know beforehand how the ground is going to ride. I think there should be a going guide beforehand, and afterwards I think there should be the official going, because it'd be nice for form judges afterwards, a month later, to trust the going. Because sometimes the going is just not totally correct.
And on that note, camera work at race meetings, they're trying new things now, which I love, okay, to try and bring in new fans and seeing the aerial shots, the drone shots, the side-on shots, where it brings viewers who are not betting on the races. It's more exciting when you see them angles. But for people like you that need to see all the horses, the replays, you should have an option of a replay to see the normal camera angle, I think. I have no problem doing that during a race, the different fancy camera angles, but I think after a race, you should be able to see the normal camera.
Yeah, I'd like to see all the runners, and I'd like to see them side on, because you get a better judge of how they're jumping side on personally. Okay. Just quickly there, people often, a few friends of mine text me after the Supreme every year, what's the ground in Cheltenham? So just to run through the last 4 or 5 years, Shishkin won in 408, Classkildreen 359, Somerville Boy 405, Lebeck 352 and Altior 346. That tells me the ground. Like if it's 346, that's good ground. Last year at 408, you're talking soft to heavy ground. And the last thing I want to mention, I want to give you an example of a brilliant time. Last time.
Brilliant time.
Yeah, really brilliant time.
Go on, hurry up.
I thought that there was 2 horses in the Cheltenham bumper that stand out by a mile.
There's not.
There's Kilcrut.
Yeah.
There's obviously Sir Gerhard. I think there's a third
another
horse. Yeah, I think so. I only looked at this the other day. I forgot to do it at the time. A horse called 3 Stripe Life in Navan. I compared him to the Devil's Coachman who won the first race, to Dan Malisk and himself. From the third last to the line, right? He beats Dan Malisk by 6 seconds. Now, Dan Malisk has to jump 2 hurdles, so take off a second for that. So he beats it by 5 seconds, by 4. He beat it by 20 lengths, giving it almost 2 stone. The Devil's Coachman, similar time to the second last, similar time to the last. He beat the Devil's Coachman by 2 seconds from the last to the line.
That's 8 lengths.
That's 8 lengths less maybe for jumping it. So say 6 lengths. But he also gave it £7. So I'm just saying to you, if you have had a bet on those 2 in the Cheltenham bumper, I think you definitely need to have a bet each way on 3 Stripe Life at 16 to 1. I have.
So you'd advise in the back to 3 of them?
It was a very fast time, yeah.
Okay, you know it wasn't a very fast time. You answered that question.
I know.
Let's get on with the show. So now it's time for the week that was. Yes, where Gavin Lynch tells you all about the horses who have impressed him over the last 7 days. And Gavin, there's probably not that many this week.
Not that many. There was no jumps racing in Britain or Ireland Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday or Friday. There was 17 bumpers held in Kempton Tuesday and Thursday. I didn't see any Cheltenham winners in that, so. Did you?
No, them all-weather bumpers are strange races.
There was no stars in them. We're going to start in Saturday in Naas, and a horse for Willie Mullins, Gentleman to Me. He's now 25 to 1 for the Ballymore. He won a maiden hurdle by 4.5 lengths, and actually was 6 seconds quicker than Hurricane Cliff, which is interesting.
I got tweeted a question on Twitter. Somebody wants to know, is Gentleman to Me a dark horse for one of the races to Cheltenham?
Yeah, I think Willie said afterwards he's probably more of a Ballymore horse than a Supreme horse. He was an expensive horse. He had finished second twice, I think, in France in 2019. But he looks a very nice animal. We have to mention Ellie Mae.
Well done, Gavin.
She's only a 7-year-old. She's open to improvement. She beat Shattered Love by 5.5 lengths. She gave Shattered Love £5 in Naas, and at Cheltenham she has to give Shattered Love £3. And also your horse Collereevy would have to give Ellie Mae £2. The 2 mile trip didn't suit either horse really, Ellie Mae or Shattered Love. No, the two of them will love 2.5. Ellie Mae in the first mile, and this has happened in her 4 chase wins, which were at Cork, Thurles again, and in Naas. In the first mile, she's not electric.
No.
She's kind of sluggish in 1 or 2 jumps, but her jumping was good. She's not the biggest. She jumps very well. The thing I love about her is the way she finishes out so strong. In the last half a mile, she's very, very strong, and I think she'd take a lot of beating.
She's on my team now.
Just for a week. Druid's Altar won the 4-year-old novice hurdle.
The second horse there now is a bit of a thinker.
Yeah, that's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
He didn't want to go by, really.
And by thinker, I mean thinking about things.
Yes. So the reason why this race, you have to give it some respect, is the last 2 winners. Aramax won it last year, went on to win the Boodles off 138.
Aramax, you say? Aramax?
Yeah.
Whose banker was that last year?
Band of Outlaws won it 2 years ago, went on to win the Boodles off 139. Druid's Altar travelled well. Ezafanian came upsides, but it battled away, no problem. It was easily the best horse.
Won't be winning the Boodles though.
Well, you say that, but it's 25 to 1, I think. I think that's a big, big price. I'm not saying to back it, but it's a big price. Going into the race on Saturday, it had a rating of 122. I checked this morning, and it's got a new rating of 130, so it went up £8. If you want to see the new rating, somebody asked recently, just go into HRI, go into Google and search for HRI National Hunt Ratings, and they're all there. So Druid's Altar is 25 to 1 for the Bulls.
If Saint Sam can't give that horse £6, I'll eat my hat.
Yeah, well, you don't know the English ratings yet, so we'll see.
Yeah, well, in Ireland too.
Punchestown on Sunday, Shady Operator.
Well,
yeah, it was good. Afterwards, Enda Bulger said he didn't know whether it was good enough to send to Cheltenham. And the interesting thing that Enda Bulger said afterwards is that Derek O'Connor was his first win over the Banks, which I found very interesting. So he won the PP Hogan. He beat Basta Cooman by 2.5 lengths. He's 14 to 1 for the cross country in Cheltenham, but he may not go. And obviously JP is the favourite in the race. So the Devil's Coachman, I was impressed. It's after winning now 4 out of 5, including 3 out of 4 over hurdles. It beat the American horse who's been subsequently disqualified for not carrying enough weight, French Light. It gave it £6 and it won by 2 lengths. It was 9 seconds slower than the bumper, so they did go very slowly, but they quickened up well turning in.
I would be very interested in Fire Attack if it did go for the Martin Pike. Very interested.
He's a bit free in the headgear. And
yeah, they went slow though, Gavin. He did settle better than he settled so far. And I just thought when he came under pressure, he didn't really know what to do because he's still immature, he's raw. But I just thought there was more encouraging signs there. This horse has ability. Okay,
so the winner, the Devil's Coachman, is 20 to 1 for the Supreme, 16 to 1 for the County Hurdle. I'd be interested in it for the County Hurdle. It had a rating going into Sunday of 137. It's now got a rating of 142, plus whatever the English handicapper's going to give it. Jungle Boogie won a bad maiden hurdle by 30 lengths.
Very impressive, but by God, it was a deplorable race.
Terrible.
I'd say me that did the 3K in over 14 minutes would have finished second in that race.
Went off 2 to 13. It was a bit keen. Jumping was a bit sloppy. But I mean, it's 2 from 2. It's unexposed. It may go for the Ballymore. It may go for the Bartlett. But it want to sell a little bit better. It's 33 to 1 for both of them. The big dog.
The big dog.
It seems if you want to win a good handicap chase, what you need to do is get bet plenty in beginners chases. For example,
Beaten plenty.
Beaten.
That's a Mead thing, by the way.
Is
we
it?
say bet. Yeah,
Bet.
it's beaten.
You want to get beaten plenty in beginners chases. Cocoa Beach was well beaten before it won the Thyestes, and the big dog was not from 4 over fences.
And we might have another one for that later in the show.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
So it won off 136, did well to battle. Jamie lost an iron after the last, but it battled well, and it's now up to 144. Definitely needs soft to heavy ground. I don't think it'll go to Cheltenham, the National Chase. It might go for the Irish National, but I think the race that it's crying out for is the Midlands National in New Toxeter.
Oh, be the Lord.
4 mile 2, heavy ground. That's the race it should go for, I think, but maybe I'm wrong.
There you go, Peter. Midlands National, away you go, off to you, Toxeter.
Yeah. Exeter on Sunday, Wild About Oscar beat the Glancing Queen.
Glancing Queen was disappointing, Gavin.
Yeah.
If the Glancing Queen hadn't ran on Sunday, I would have been so tempted to tip her up this week at 14 to 1 for the Mayor's.
She was disappointing.
You couldn't really see the camera was such a horrible day there. You couldn't see it properly, but she was disappointing. Now the winner's a good horse, but she was disappointing. She disappointed me anyway.
She was getting the £7 and she was well beat, so I can't see her winning the Mayor's Novice Hurdle. Would you worry a little bit about the form of the Challow? No. She was beaten 7.5 lengths here, and she was beaten 10.5 lengths by Brave Man's Game. So
yeah. I think the second horse in the Shallow of Evan Williams is a good horse.
Stargate.
Yeah, I think Brave Man's Game is getting better all the time. He's filling out.
I just wonder has he beaten
Will you
much?
stop taking it away
Anyway.
from me? I have only a couple of good tips, and you're taking one of them
I'm only
away
talking.
from me.
Wild About
That
Oscar
was a
jumped
low
out.
dig, that was.
It was not. Wild About Oscar jumped out to his left, so he'll be better going the other way
Maybe he's
around.
just an exceptional racehorse, Gavin.
He could be. He made a very bad mistake in the Challow, actually, Wild About Oscar, and he just pulled
He
him
did,
up.
yeah.
20 to 1 for the Ballymore, he is. It's his only entry.
So I could flip that and say Brave Man's Game's form is working out brilliant. Look how Wild About Oscar, he bolted up and Brave Man's Game
He only pulled up in that race.
made him pull up.
Also on Sunday in Exeter, Brinkley, who's only a 6-year-old, he won a Pretemps qualifier off 140.
Like the run of Tommy Rapper there, I thought he was quite eye-catching.
Okay.
Travelled well, finished second.
Brinkley is now 3 out of 4 for David Pipe. He's 12 to 1 for the final of the Bet with Bet365 for the Pretemps, yeah. And then on to Warwick on Monday. What did you make of All Mankind?
He's surprising me every week, Gavin. I thought it was a fair performance now. Cheltenham jumped terrible, so he only had to beat Sky Pirate, who I think myself is a little bit overrated, has been campaigned bizarrely. You'd imagine the Grand Annual was his for the taking if he hadn't went out.
Yeah,
But then, the flip side of that, Gavin, is they have a horse who is still a novice, and the biggest race for novices is the Arkle. He's rated 152, was it, going into that race? So why not have a crack at the Arkle?
Yeah. And All Mankind was giving him £3. So
They might rue it a
performance,
little bit now, though.
I'd say they probably
that
will,
stance,
yeah. All Mankind,
What do you make of it?
I thought that his jumping was only okay. Now, when he meets one right, he's electric.
Brilliant.
He's really fast. But then I counted 3 mistakes before the one at the second last, which was a howler. But he's a very, very good horse, got a great engine.
He's hard as nails, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
It seems to be the harder the race, the bigger the mistake, the more he loves it. he's
He's going
remarkable.
to play a huge part in the Arkle. Now, the last couple of years, we've built up the Champion Chase, which fell apart last year. 2 years ago, we built up the Champion Hurdle. That fell apart. I just hope it doesn't happen. All Mankind is 3 from 3 over fences. So is Energamine, so is Shishkin. The 2 boys will be up front, All Mankind and Energamine taking each other on. So I hope they all jump well.
See
Yeah.
how Shishkin doesn't win.
But it'll be a great race.
Well.
So that's the week there was.
And just a couple of small nuggets.
sorry, yeah.
Yeah, I was on the news beat this week. Delta Work obviously out of the Gold Cup. Unfortunately suffered a minor fracture in the Irish Gold Cup, and will be back next year. And a lot of people have been tweeting me asking, will Zanahiyr go for the Supreme because Gordon's got Calixius for the Triumph? Calixius can't run the Supreme because he's not a novice. The Triumph Hurdle isn't officially a novice race. But Gordon says no. Zanahiyr is going for the Triumph, and that's that. Okay. And Calixius will have an entry in the Boodles to see what mark he gets. But my impression would be that Calixius and Zanahiyr will both run in the Triumph Hurdle, and I would say there's a big chance they'll finish first and second.
They could. Two good horses, yeah.
So there's my little news round there for anybody that wanted to know. And that was Gavin's Week That Was. So each week here on Upping the Ante, we preview one of the big races at the Cheltenham Festival, and we're going to have a look at the Champion Hurdle this week. And Honeysuckle, after her breathtaking Irish Champion Hurdle win, is currently Bet365's 5-2 favourite. The defending champion Ante-Post is 11-4. It is 11-1 Silver Streak, and it is 12-1 Bar, which includes Abacadabra's 14-1. My selection earlier on Upping the Ante, Aspire Tower. So Gavin, Honeysuckle, where are we with Honeysuckle? Are we believers?
Yes.
Then you saw her face.
I'm a believer. Was that the monkeys? No.
Yeah, very good.
The last day she was much better, much sharper. Her jumping was better, slicker. Yeah. Before that she had looked a 2.5 mile mare. So even last year at Cheltenham the Mayor's Hurdle, or last year in the Irish Champion, or even in the Hatton's Grace, her jumping always seemed a bit higher, but her jumping was very good. Yeah. What she did from 3 out to 2 out was amazing. She was brilliant. Rachel gets on fantastic with her, so she's entitled to be favourite.
So the similarities we have here is with Apple's Jade. Apple's Jade was a similarly impressive winner of the Irish Champion Hurdle, forced Gigginstown and Gordon Elliott into going for the Champion Hurdle, and then got to Cheltenham and was all at sea over the 2 mile trip, okay? Is there a chance that something similar that happened to Apple's Jade could happen to Honeysuckle, and she's just taken out of her comfort zone in the first half of the race?
I wouldn't think so. The ground generally on the Tuesday is soft, which is what she loves and what she needs. There's going to be a huge pace in the race between Silver Streak, Aspire Tower, Goshen and Not So Sleepy. I can imagine probably she's going to sit 4th or 5th on the outside. She'll join them coming down the hill and she'll kick on at the bend, I'd imagine.
Most likely winner?
She is. I think Silver Streak is an each way chance simply because...
Do you?
I do, because the last day was the first time they ever made the running. And so you could say he's slightly unexposed, but he's not going to get a solo in this race because there's so many that want to lead.
No, he'd be
but I could definitely see him being involved if he's there with them at the bend with her. Ante-Post, last year's winner, has to get a mention. It's an okay champion hurdle.
I'm worried. I don't like to hear... You know, when you're talking about the Champion Hurdle, you can't afford to miss a beat, I think. And just, they're tweaking her back, and the back was the problem, Ante-Post, at Christmas. And you hear Nikki coming out and saying, you know, she just wasn't herself at Christmas. That worries me.
Yeah,
that
she was carrying
really
on a bit
worries
beforehand
me.
in the race too, wasn't she?
That worries me, you know, because... You need to be going into that Champion Hurdle like she was last year, where she was electric all season. She was peaking in the Champion Hurdle.
Dave, don't be worrying.
I'm worrying about Ante-Post because I love Ante-Post, but I'm worrying.
Can you sleep?
Yeah, I can sleep grand, yeah. Once Georgia doesn't wake, I sleep great. But yeah, I'm just a little bit worried. That's why I think Honeysuckle is such a solid favourite.
Yeah, here come the girls. It's the 2 mares at the top of the betting, and rightly
so. But I'm telling you now,
£7.
I'm telling you now, at the moment, Honeysuckle's biggest danger is my selection, Aspire Tower. Henry de Bromhead has been waxing lyrical about this horse in recent weeks. The horse has turned inside out, strengthened up, filled out, and you have to remember, still only a 5-year-old Aspire Tower. I thought it was a really good run in the Matheson Hurdle at Christmas. I think he's going to get better. I think the faster they go, the better it will suit him, and he will be finishing.
Okay.
Forget his run in the Triumph Hurdle last year. He never jumped a hurdle. He's a good horse that's getting better.
He still makes the odd mistake, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. He made a mistake in the second last.
That's not easy for a 5-year-old.
But I think Henry de Bromhead could hold the key to Champion Hurdle, and 13 years after sizing Europe, had the race in his grasp, and then unfortunately picked up an injury where he went from absolutely tanking to toiling, coming down the hill in the Champion Hurdle. 13 years later, I think Henry de Bromhead is going to win the Champion Hurdle.
Very good.
So it is Honeysuckle and Aspire Tower for me, and for you?
Honeysuckle and each way Silver Streak.
That is the Champion Hurdle. So of course, what you want to know now is what's happening this week, and I think it will be easier to ask Gavin what's not happening this week.
Plenty on.
Because basically everything is happening this week. So any horse that needs a prep for Cheltenham is basically run this week, and obviously Nikki has juggled all the balls in the air. There's a new name for the Game Spirit, which is originally some massive long name.
And he's running champ in it.
And he's running champ in it. And somebody very cleverly said on Twitter, because the name was changed, did Dickie get mixed up and was supposed to enter it in the Denman Chase? But no, champ is running over 2 miles.
That's the biggest curveball of the season.
That's a brave call.
I wouldn't be mad about champ for the Gold Cup simply because of his jumping. His jumping to me has always been a little bit iffy. It can be okay, but then you get the odd bad jump. So watching him over 2 miles, I couldn't have him over 2 miles anyway.
Could you not?
No.
Yeah. Imagine if he won it. Imagine if he won it impressively.
Yeah.
It would be the perfect prep for the Gold Cup because you'd know he can jump at speed.
Fair play. Like, he's rolling the dice. It's a bit of a risk to take, but yeah.
He is. Okay, so the big race this weekend is the Ascot Chase on Saturday. Well, this is the horse that I can't figure out. I've
Surname.
been tearing my hair out. Paul Nicholls will be hoping, I'm saying it has no chance. So where are we with Surname? What
Dunno.
can we expect?
I don't know, like he's going to have his ideal ground, his ideal, he's playing at home anyway, in Ascot.
Playing at home, yeah.
Over what is it, 2-5. Tell me this, the tactics in the race, he's going to lead, is he? Ahead of Master Tommy
Harry
Tucker?
Cobden had a Zoom call yesterday and he said he's going to be positive on Surname. And maybe that's it. My theory on Surname is that he is...
Is this your fifth one?
Yeah, I think he's claustrophobic.
Okay.
I think, like, Delta Work hates being around horses, okay? I think Surname hates just the hustle and bustle, and I think he likes being just out on his own.
I know Paul Nicholls trains the two of them, but do you think Master Tommy Tucker will leave him alone, yeah?
I think Master Tommy Tucker is a very good horse, but I think in their heads, they think that there is no comparison between Surname and Master Tommy Tucker.
Yeah.
So I just wonder if he bounces out and just goes whoosh. Like even at Weatherby where he settled a little bit, he had room. He just had room. I think he's claustrophobic. So I would like if you back Surname and if you fancy Surname, I would like over the first fence to see no horse either side of him.
So just leave it to him.
Just leave it to him, yeah. Will he win?
Probably if he does
I'd
all
say
that.
God above doesn't even know whether he's going to win.
I'd say even Dashel Drasher could take him on, or Master Tommy Tucker, as we said. So again, the tactics are going to be very important.
My old Mr. Fisher's entered as well.
Is he?
Yeah. So condescending.
I'm not.
He's a good horse, Gavin.
And then in the Reynolds-Town, your horse as well, the big breakaway. Is he
Big
running
breakaway.
there?
It's a big weekend for me, Gavin.
Yeah.
The big breakaway, yeah. Yeah. Hopefully he'll do the business in the Reynolds-Town. He's currently favoured for it. And then Sunday. Sunday. What a day we have in store.
In Newbury.
Newbury and Navan.
Yeah, look, Clandazobo is not as good going left-handed. He's going to the Denman Chase. Will Lost in Translation going there?
I'd say so.
Yeah, probably will, yeah. So maybe him, but I couldn't really see a bet in that race, to be honest.
Okay, we're back to the Betfair hurdle.
Yeah, the two that I liked last week are kind of 8 or 10 to 1 was Cadzand and Soaring Glory. I think they're like 5 and 6 to 1 now, so I'll probably back one and save on the other.
Gavin Lynch impact on the market.
No, it is not.
So come here, did you think any more about
Sure,
Mr.
Metier is not running, so.
No, did you think any more about Mr. Coffey since I was last talking to you?
I did. I thought about him quite a lot, yeah.
Well.
No, I didn't. I just think he wants decent ground to win.
Do you give him any chance?
Bit of a chance, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Gavin, if he wins next week. Oh my God. What will you do? Any forfeit?
No.
Nothing.
No.
The forfeit can be you can wear that shirt again.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Coffey for me is the banker of the weekend. Once again, 2 weeks in a row, Mr. Coffey has been my banker of the weekend. Still 10 to 1 Bet365.
Yeah.
You are going to see the real Mr. Coffey at the weekend.
The Arkle winner.
Next year's Arkle winner,
Yeah,
not this year.
No,
Next
I know
year's
that.
Arkle winner. Yeah,
Yeah.
2022 Arkle winner, Mr. Coffey. The 2021 Betfair Hurdle winner. Your best bet of the weekend, Gavin Lynch?
Oh, I'll go with Cadzand in the Betfair Hurdle. And just to mention as well, in Gorham Park, Saturday, the Red Mills Hurdle over 2 mile and the Chase over 2.5. Navan on Sunday, the Boyne Hurdle and the 10 up Novice Chase.
Yeah.
What's your best bet of the week?
Oh, Mr. Coffey.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Coffey, yeah, definitely
question.
Mr. Coffey. Hopefully, if Mr. Coffey and the big breakaway win, I will float in here next week.
I'm actually going to take on the big breakaway, and if the cap fits, I think the two of them, the jumping isn't quite good enough, so I'll back something to beat them too. Yeah.
There you go. That's what's happening this week. So it's Ante-Post Portfolios time, where you get a chance to catch up on all the tips from myself and Gavin. Rolling up and down the screen there, the prices that were tipped at, the prices they are now. And Gavin, it's been an interesting week because you've had some positive feedback from trainers about some of your horses.
Yeah, I read yesterday that Eugene O'Sullivan said, but it came to pass, it might go to Thurles on the 25th, unless the ground is heavy, then he won't. Then he'll go straight to Cheltenham.
And what else did he say, Gavin? What else did he say?
The horse is in savage order and is better than he was a year ago.
Well, if he's better than he was a year ago,
now
I'm a bit worried for Staco Wallace.
Yeah, he just would need good soft ground. The better the ground, the better his chance. But by the time the Friday at Cheltenham, this year's on the 19th, so I'd say maybe he'll get his ground.
It's nearly in August this year, isn't it?
Another thing to point out about Royal Cahala, this is very, very interesting. I was talking
You're saving your bacon here.
Well, don't know. I was talking to Peter Rowe the other day because we changed the date of the cycle to September the 25th.
Nice fella, Peter, yeah.
Yeah, lovely fella, very helpful, very friendly.
Is he doing the cycle?
We'll see. I'm going to try and talk him into it.
Okay.
But so he was telling me that, which is very interesting, and he's right, I've checked it out.
Spit it out, will you?
Royal Cahala gave Rosie's Hollow £4 the other day, right? In Cheltenham, Royal Cahala is getting £5 from Rosie's Hollow. That's a £9 turnaround.
You're good at maths. I didn't know you were good at maths.
I am. £9 turnaround is huge. That was the best trial for the Mayor's Novice Hurdle. So I hope the Fahis decide to bring Roy Cahala.
You haven't lost the faith.
No, I haven't, because I think that wasn't fully her. I think she's better than that. She didn't really travel.
Peter, a bonkers race, wasn't it?
Yeah, a bit. Peter was interviewed after the Big Dog won, and he said we found a couple of little things.
Roe or Fahy?
Peter Fahy.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. He said we found a couple of little things wrong with Royal Cahala, and they're debating whether to go to Cheltenham or wait for the Grade 1 affiliate.
Well, you watch us. Make your plea.
So £9 better off. That's a lot.
You know what to do, Peter. Go to Cheltenham with Royal Cahala.
Yeah, I think she take a lot of beating.
Anything else?
No, we mentioned latest exhibition might go to Fairy. Yes, we mentioned Zanny here going for the Triumph, so that's it.
Okay, so it's a big week for my selections this week. Couple of them running, and hopefully the big breakaway will do the business and put down his marker to Monkfish, Gavin.
Yeah.
That horse is going to surprise you now.
It'd want to be a big marker to beat Monkfish, wouldn't it?
Ah, yeah, he mightn't beat Monkfish, but hopefully he goes in the Reynoldstown Novices Chase on Saturday in Ascot, and a couple of others. Mr. Fisher's entered as well in the Ascot Chase. I think the ground might be too soft for him. He might go straight to Cheltenham. And Gavin, what earlier in the show, for people to miss, the one selection that you would take for your team would be?
Imperial Alcazar.
Yeah.
And you?
I picked Ellie Mae. That was my one that I stole for my team. So there you go. There's the look. You can see the prices rolling up and down the screen there. Our selections, what price they were tipped at, and what price they are now. Okay, up in the Ante viewers now, it's time to find out what myself and Gavin Lynch are tipping this week in week 15 for the 2021 Cheltenham Festival. And something bizarre happened yesterday, okay? We send our selections through, okay? So I sent an email to the people producing the show, and I said, this is the horse I'm tipping this week for the graphics and all that beautiful stuff you see behind us.
And straight away I rang you.
So I sent email, I picked out this horse completely from left field. Left field, you wouldn't even see it. Left field hasn't. I said, this is a real dark one. So dark that nobody will see it. Sent the email, I would say roughly 13.2 seconds later, the phone rings, Gavin Lynch, and I said, he's going to be given out to me now. What are you picking a stupid horse like that? Gavlar, how are you? Dave, you won't believe it. You won't believe it. What? I'm picking him as well. We were picking the same horse, and it's 25 to 1. We picked the same horse, and the horse is Schoolboy Hours for the Kim Muir, 25 to 1 with Bet365. Unbelievably, myself and Gavin have been digging down the same trench, and we found Schoolboy Hours 25 to 1 for the Kim Muir. Gavin rang me. He said, look, I have all these notes written out. What you do, show the camera.
Yeah.
All on Schoolboy Hours, okay? So Gavin, tell people why we are both tipping up Schoolboy Hours for the Kim Muir 25 to 1.
First things first. The only reason
things first. Like, it's not a stupid saying. Do you ever hear it was Peter Kay, wasn't it? Yeah. First things first. No, let's have first things second.
So
go on, first things first.
I'm picking two horses for the Kim Muir.
Okay.
Or as they might say in Dublin, Kim Muir.
The Kim Muir.
The Kim Muir. I'm picking Schoolboy Hours as the first one.
Yeah, the winner,
and the other one now in a moment. The only reason I'm picking these two is because Ascaria 10, who would have won the Kim Muir? I'm sick over that. I was praying he'd finish third or fourth in Ace. He finished second. He's got a rating of 147.
You know what you do next time you're praying? Pray the Angelus. The longest prayer, you get the most luck.
So as the song said, if you can't be with the one you love the one you're with. So I'm changing here to Schoolboy Hours and another horse in a moment.
Sam, watch this.
So Schoolboy Hours, he only had 12 runs. Now the one little thing is he's only won once.
Yeah, that's my worry as well.
I don't know if he's resolute. Is he going to fight?
And I think he would have
won
a Cork one day he fell. I think he would have won over hurdles at Cork.
Maybe, yeah. Last season he ran 3 times over fences. He was third to Lorena, fell behind Bapome, and was third to Castlebone.
What was second in the Lorena race?
Manila Indo.
Manila Indo.
This season he's been second to latest exhibition. He's been fourth to Steering Falange and second to Eclat de Rire, who's going to run a cracker in the RSA.
Trade a very short run in between the second last and the last against Eclat.
Yeah, so is he resolute to come up the hill? I don't know, but he's a wrong price of 25 to 1.
Could he be just so well handicapped?
He could. He's got a rating of 135. The Kim Muir is a knot to 145. I'm sure he'll get another £5 from the UK handicapper, so probably 140.
Yeah, 140. That's in my head. And he actually has a similar-ish profile to Annie Second now, who won the race 2 years ago.
Yeah, and even last year.
Annie Second now was a maiden going into the Kim Muir over fences.
And so was Milan Native last year.
So was Milan Native, yeah.
Novices are the way to go. As we've seen in the Thyestes and the National Home Trial the other day, as we said, Coca Beach was not from 4. The Big Dog was not from 4. This lad is not from 6. But he's kept great company, so he has to have a good chance.
Yeah, and he is. I liked his jumping the punches 10. I thought he got into a nice rhythm. And at the time I said, this is Schoolboy Hours again. He just doesn't win races.
I know.
And then you find out, hold on a second, the winner's actually a very good horse.
So, but any second now is a little bit like that. He didn't win very often at the time. So, JP also has in the race. Jerry's back. Dickie Diver was a bit keen, and Manila Times who ran well in Leopardstown lately. So, the reason why I'm picking 2 horses is I just want to make sure that I get a runner.
Okay,
I couldn't choose between these 2 anyway.
So our first selections this week, we've only done this once before in the show with Sire de Burley in the Stayers Hurdle. So we both tipped Sire de Burley at 10 to 1. And this week, both myself and Gavin are tipping Schoolboy Hours for the Kimmuir at 25 to 1. But Gavin has a second selection.
I do also at 25 to 1. So if you have a tenner at 25 to 1 on the 2 of them, you've invested 20 quid, you'd get back 260, you win 240. So it's basically a 12 to 1 winner. If Schoolboy Hours wins, or this horse. And this one is called Time to Get Up.
Time to
And
Get
it's
Up.
also owned by JP. Now, what you have to remember is that last year at Cheltenham, JP won 4 of the handicaps. Recently at the Dublin Racing Festival, he won, I think, 3 out of 5 handicaps. So he's very good at these handicaps. This horse was trained by Joseph. He had 3 runs of maiden hurdles, and he finished up his 3rd run. He was second to Monkfish over 2 miles 7. It was a good run. Monkfish obviously has improved a couple of stones since then. He then went and joined John Joe. He reappeared after 11 months off. He ran the handicap chase in Aintree over 2.5. Then he ran in Weatherby. Wasn't so good in Weatherby over 2.3. Anyway, the last day he stepped up to 3 mile 1.
Loved it.
In Wincanton. Jumped really well. In the end, he stayed on very, very strongly in the last couple of furlongs. He won with his ears pricked. He won by 5 lengths. He's gone from 130 to 138. He's a novice. He's only ever had 6 lifetime starts. He's very, very unexposed. He jumps fine. He's 25 to 1. I think he's like the Kimmuir is 3 miles 2 furlongs. He'd definitely stay that. This fella has no issues. Schoolboy Hours has more talent. This fella's more resolute. So I just couldn't choose between the 2 of them. So I'm putting the 2 of them up.
Okay, that's perfectly fine, Gavin. That's quite shrewd, actually. So Gavin's second selection this week is 20 past 7, also known as Time to Get Up. Okay, Time to Get Up and Schoolboy Hours, Gavin Lynch's 2 selections this week. And my second selection, I can't believe I'm doing this.
Go on.
I can't believe it. If you'd have told me a couple of weeks ago that I was going to tip this horse, I would have laughed at you, Gavin.
Right.
But I went through the race last night, okay? And I just can't understand how Tiger Roll is 7 to 1 for the cross-country chase. 7 to 1 with Bet365. Tiger Roll for the cross-country chase. Okay, now there's a lot of guessing involved here, okay? So you have to try and, get the vibes from the people that know the horse. And the vibes that I'm getting are...
Well, you know Keith well.
Yeah, I just think that he's getting there. And... like last year he had the problem where he had the chip in the bone and that ruled him out from November to February, okay? This year, I think it's been a little bit smoother, even though he was very disappointing on soft ground in November, okay? And the flat run, it was mediocre at best, okay?
Yeah.
But this is a spring horse, okay? And for this horse to win at the Cheltenham Festival this year would be an astonishing achievement. Gordon Elliott is a genius. He's an absolute genius. And to get this horse to have done what he's done is incredible, Gavin. If Tiger Roll, that we know and love, turns up, the way he can in the cross-country chase, I think 7 to 1 is at least double the price that he should be, okay? He's been over the Banks course at Punchestown, okay?
Okay, recently?
Yes.
Okay.
He has been to the beach. He's been hunting. So he's doing all these different things to kind of
Fishing,
rekindle his
golfing.
enthusiasm. Yeah, golfing. He played a few holes in Royal Tower the other day as well.
Lovely, yeah.
He's doing a couple of different things just to get him back right. And the vibes, you don't know until the horse gets to the track. But the vibes are very positive, okay? And what an occasion it would be.
That'd be amazing.
If Tiger Roll won the cross country. It would be unbelievable. It'd just be a shame that none of us are going to be there. But anyway, Tiger Roll, I think he could be back, Gavin. Easy Lands, like you spoke about there. What did he have? He had Easy's Land. He had some
Rhino something.
Rhino something. So he's had a setback, okay? So his season hasn't gone smoothly. Yes, if the Easy Lands that showed up last year turns up this year, he's an absolute certainty. We know that, okay? But there's a bit
Even
of an
with
if.
Jonathan Plouganeau.
There's a bit of an if there. And you're getting 7 to 1 about Tiger Roll.
Yeah.
It's the only single figure priced horse that I've tipped so far. And I just had to do it because I thought 7 to 1 was too big.
I'd say if he got good ground, it would definitely improve his chances.
Certainly would, but as we've been telling people, Gavin, how late is Cheltenham this year?
16th, yeah.
Yeah, so...
the only thing is he's 11, but yeah, maybe.
I know, but look,
Maybe.
I believe in fairy tales, Gavin.
Yeah, it would
and
be
I
that.
think there could be a fairy tale penned at Cheltenham this year. So Tiger Roll, 7 to 1 for the Glenfarclas cross-country chase is my latest Ante-Post pick. So folks, that's it for episode 15 of Upping the Ante in association with Bet365. Can you believe we have 15 weeks done and dusted, Gavin? And tomorrow is the start of Lent.
Oh, lovely, yeah.
Lent starts tomorrow, okay? So me and Eve have decided we're going to write 5 things on the fridge that we're giving up, okay? For Lent. 5 things that we cannot have and we're going to spur each other on, okay? So do you want to know my 5 things?
Go on, yeah.
Broccoli, parsnips, cabbage. No, I'm only joking. You didn't even laugh there. I'm giving up chocolate.
I was believing you.
I'm giving up chocolate, right?
Yeah.
I'm giving up crisps. I'm giving up bread. I'm giving up potatoes. And I'm giving up any sort of sugary stuff. Okay,
Right.
so they're my 5 things. Okay,
Right.
so all bad stuff and bread and potatoes, especially, out. I'm giving up anything.
I'll back and fallers, and Hurst to finish second.
Seconditis.
Seconditis.
You're
Yeah.
giving up seconditis. You know what's going to happen now?
I didn't think of it.
You know what's going to happen now?
Yeah.
All them seconds are going to come like the ocean.
They could. Look at evenings are getting brighter. The weather's hopefully getting better. The cold snap is finished. Just we have to stay positive. And only 4 weeks to Cheltenham.
Only 4 weeks to Cheltenham, Gavin. And only, I think, 5 days until Mr. Coffey wins the Betfair Hurling. What's not to love? So there we are. That's this week's show. Thanks for watching. We'll be back with you every Tuesday from now until the Cheltenham Festival and even the Tuesday afterwards. Plenty of brilliant racing to look forward to this weekend. If you are having a bet, don't forget to gamble responsibly. Only bet what you can afford to lose. Enjoy your week.